B-R-O-K-E, broke?
Broke.
Like broke?
Like, no money.
No money.
Yeah.
Like net worth what?
Negative.
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 She has filed for bankruptcy. Appraisers are now taking stock of her personal possessions, her baby grand piano, her Gucci silverware, her Porsche and Lexus.
I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me. When the career thing happened for me, it was a bad thing. That Ellie and Babyface only wanted to sign me, it was a bad thing. Because I remember when I told my sisters, they were crying.
America's sweetheart or covert career killer, Oprah Winfrey. Fans of talk show host Toni Braxton are doubting what they previously believed to be true about her in light of her recent revelations. Do you recall the time when Toni Braxton's music was a global sensation? Then all of a sudden, everything turned worse. She is now accusing Oprah Winfrey, an unexpected party, of being involved. However, what precisely transpired during that historic 1998 interview? Let's investigate. The 90s R&B queen was Toni Braxton. Her voice, so soulful, and became a sensation with hits like Unbreak My Heart. Toni was adored by all, and it appeared that her career would only get better. However, things then took an odd turn. Toni's reputation began to erode abruptly. The fans were puzzled. Their favorite singer, whatever happened to her? As it happens, everything might have altered with a single TV appearance. And who did it? You ask? Nobody else besides Oprah Winfrey. Yes, that is accurate. Yes, you heard correctly. The queen of daytime television, Oprah, may have had a significant influence on Toni's demise. So, what exactly went down during that infamous 1998 interview? As it happens, Toni Braxton was having some major difficulties at the time. In addition to being destitute and drowning in debt, she was also coping with health problems that would eventually be identified as lupus and microvascular angina. Oprah ought to be understanding, right? False. Rather than providing encouragement, Oprah criticized Toni harshly. She called her out for purchasing luxuries and accused her of being careless with her money.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware. When you had Gucci silverware and baby grand pianos, and you're used to wearing $5,000 and $6,000 and $7,000 gowns at a time, and spending $500 on a pair of shoes.
Can you believe Oprah actually questioned Toni about owning Gucci silverware and expensive gowns?
I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it.
Can you believe Oprah actually questioned Toni about owning Gucci silverware and expensive gowns?
She was so freaking mean to me.
Talk about kicking someone who is on the ground. Toni was caught completely off guard. She expected some understanding because she looked up to Oprah, but nope. Oprah chose to publicly humiliate her. Toni experienced humiliation and betrayal.
$500 on a pair of shoes. Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%?
100%.
How did that happen?
Because I allowed all my finances to become everyone else's finances. That's pretty much how I got here. A lot of the, you wear the, like you said, the expensive dresses and the shoes and all that kind of stuff. But what was happening, I was financing personally with my career, the image that everyone sees. I was the one financing it.
Consider how depressing that must have been, particularly because it was said by someone you respect. However, things worsen. Oprah didn't merely inquire for elegant silverware. She questioned Toni directly if she accepted blame for her bankruptcy.
Mean. And immediately, she made me feel this big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
The fact is that Toni's financial issues weren't as straightforward as Oprah made them appear. Toni later disclosed some startling information regarding her album sales, which weren't excellent at all. Oprah didn't care to investigate any of that, though rather, she continued to level allegations at Toni and made him feel terrible. You know what? It had a major impact on Toni's career and reputation. Following the interview, Toni became known as a reckless spender who couldn't handle her money. It was a PR nightmare. The public and media hopped on the bandwagon, claiming Toni's financial woes were solely the result of her luxurious lifestyle. But it wasn't the real story. Toni was upset by these charges. What makes Oprah want to bring down Toni Braxton? Buckle up, because we are about to get into some extremely juicy information that will make your jaw drop. Remember how Oprah questioned Toni about her spending habits? It turns out there was a lot more to the story than beautiful cutlery and designer outfits. Toni was dealing with some big behind-the-scenes issues, which Oprah easily overlooked. How does a diva who has sold over 70 million songs worldwide wind up filing for bankruptcy twice? Let's chat about Toni's recording contract. You'd think a superstar like her would be flush with wealth. Right, wrong. Despite selling over 170 million albums in the 1990s, guess how much Toni received in royalties? Brace yourself. It was only $972. Yes, you heard that right. Less than $20 for all those platinum albums. Toni herself revealed the startling details of this event. She stated that despite selling over 40 million records, her royalties were less than $2,000. Can you imagine how frustrating that must have been? But wait, there's more. Toni was not simply dealing with an unfair contract. She was also dealing with major health concerns, which Oprah failed to mention. Toni was diagnosed with microvascular angina, a cardiac disease that prompted her to cancel shows and incur further debt. That wasn't enough. She later discovered she also had lupus. These health issues were not only terrifying, but also costly. Toni had to have surgery and cancel her Las Vegas show due to her lupus. She explained, "What about the Vegas show? I had just renewed all of my vendor contracts. And then I got sick a month later. I couldn't work and couldn't afford to repay them." So, while Oprah was pointing fingers at Toni's alleged extravagance, the true story was far more nuanced. Toni was locked in a contract that was essentially stealing from her, all while fighting for her health and attempting to keep her career alive. But here's the million-dollar question. Why did Oprah disregard all of this? Was she simply unaware of Toni's struggles? Was there anything else going on? Some fans are beginning to wonder if Oprah had personal reasons for trying to make Toni seem bad. Think about it. Oprah was at the peak of her career, recognized for her hard-hitting interviews. Perhaps she viewed Toni as a threat, a youthful, gorgeous, and gifted star who was adored by millions. Might Oprah have been jealous? It's a strange notion, but it could explain why Oprah was so hard on Toni during that interview. Instead of offering help or delving into the genuine difficulties, Oprah opted to focus on the surface-level details that made Toni appear irresponsible. As we saw with Braxton, Oprah's handling of celebrities on her show was not always as welcoming as it appeared. But was this a one-time occurrence or part of a larger pattern? It turns out Toni's experience may not be as rare as we assumed. Let us discuss about Monique. Remember when she won an Oscar for her performance in Precious? Well, things took a turn when she refused to do free press for the movie. According to Monique, Oprah played a big part in what happened next. She claims Oprah spread rumors that she was hard to work with, which led to her being blackballed from Hollywood.
Till that woman says, "Let me apologize to you publicly," it'll be to the day I leave this earth, because what you did was malicious and it was intentional and it was ugly.
Monique also says Oprah invited her estranged family members onto her show, knowing there was bad blood between them.
Never said my mother was coming on that show, because had Oprah Winfrey said, "I'm gonna have your mother," I would have said, "Shut it down. I don't need the world seeing how greedy my mother is. Shut that down." That's one of the reasons why we don't communicate, because of my mother and father's greed.
And it's not just Monique. Ludacris has his own story about appearing on Oprah's show. He went on to promote the movie Crash back in 2024. But instead of talking about the film, Oprah decided to criticize his music. Ludacris says Oprah even edited out his responses, making it look like he just sat there silently.
You don't even agree with my music, and even if you don't agree with certain songs I made, say this, you don't agree with certain songs, don't say you just don't agree with all of my music. Right. So it was a lot of comments that actually basically she was able to say what she said, and then I had my rebuttal, and when I saw the final show, her comments were in there.
Right, was in there, but yours wasn't in there.
And mine weren't in there, so it just looked like I kind of took it. Wow. Like, was just quiet. And then
People are beginning to wonder if Oprah uses her influence to bully individuals who don't follow her standards. These stories have people questioning all they thought they knew about Oprah. Is she truly the champion of the underdog that we have always thought she was? Is there more to this story? As more celebrities come out with their stories, it becomes evident that Oprah's legacy may not be as clean as we originally believed. Some individuals are beginning to probe Oprah's connections outside of her TV show, and what they've discovered has raised a lot of eyebrows. Let us talk about Harvey Weinstein. It turns out Oprah was quite friendly with him in the past. Many individuals aren't happy about this. Rose McGowan, an actress who has been outspoken about Hollywood's issues, had strong comments about Oprah's relationship with Weinstein. McGowan wrote, "I'm glad more people are seeing the ugly truth about Oprah. I wish she were real, but she isn't. She is about maintaining a corrupt power structure for personal benefit. Whether she is friends with Weinstein or abandons and destroys Russell Simmons' victims, she's as false as they come. But wait, there's more." Some people are also discussing Oprah's potential relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. The musician's representative actually called Oprah out on this, claiming that her relationship with Epstein remains a mystery. It's crucial to remember that Oprah has denied all of these charges. She even tweeted about it, writing, "Just got a phone call that my name is trending and being trolled for some horrible fake thing. It is not true. Have not been raided or arrested. Simply sterilizing and separating yourself from the rest of the world." But here's the deal. People are beginning to question about Oprah's genuine motivations. Is she truly the compassionate, supportive figure we've always assumed she is? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Some admirers have pointed out that Oprah appears to have a history of backing people who have done questionable things. They want to know if she is part of Hollywood's toxic power structure. That is a fancy way of saying she may be contributing to the perpetuation of a terrible system. The more we learn about Oprah's problematic ties, the more questions we seem to have. And it's making a lot of folks wonder if the Oprah we see on TV is the complete picture. We've seen how Oprah's behavior damaged Toni and other celebrities, and fans are over it. They said, "I haven't been effing with Oprah since that Toni Braxton interview." Another said, "I ain't like Oprah since she invited Toni Braxton on her show just to embarrass her ab-filing bankruptcy. Nasty spirited woman. It's no coincidence that she's always drawn to sick people and situations." Toni's career took a significant setback following that interview, and it could all be Oprah's fault. It has us wondering about the power dynamics in Hollywood. Who actually holds the strings? What happens when someone like Oprah decides to use their influence? Let us know what you think, and make sure you watch this other video too.